Welcome to Season Chasers. I'm Rob Freeman. Those that love nature and outdoor sports spend a lot of quality time looking for adventures throughout the year. The more you study, the more you learn about the peak seasons in nature. It's fun to know when it's best to go fishing or hunting, when it's time to pick blueberries, wild mushrooms, or native pecans. Sometimes the peak season is close to home, right in your own backyard, or it could be miles away near the mountains and the sea. Either way, this program will chase the seasons where the action is hot.
The season is summertime. Dennis and I are guiding fishing trips on foot up here on the Chuitna River in Alaska. All the silver salmon that we're after had to hop up a lot of these little falls like this on their way up to the spawning grounds. Today, it's a selected salmon harvest. Plus, you'll see some exciting catch and release as we study, learn, and share salmon fishing in Alaska.
This will get us started.
We start out at a sunny pool as we make our way downstream to an area that's usually in the shade this time of day.
I think this one's just about ready for the stringer. All right, this is our first silver salmon of the day, and this one looks like a pretty aggressive male that hit a pixie, and we're going to need to keep this one because it's hooked in the gill. It's a pretty good keeper anyhow. And we're going to get a stringer started today with some guests from Kansas and see if we can't bring a dozen of them back to the freezer. 3 is the limit per person today, and 4 of us here. We're going to try to get a full dozen and share it with you on Season Chasers. Let him run with it. He's a big one. Get your bobber, don't worry about that. Back out, back out. I think you got him. All right, we got John's first one on the bank here, and it's a really nice one. He's using some bait and a little power bait combination. Bobber back. Take a look at this guy. All right, a little sandy right now. That's his first one of the day, and it's a nice big female. We customarily will pull a gill on these. Let me get the sand off of it so it looks a little nicer. All right, this gets us started with John's first silver of the day, and he gets 3. And it's a good morning already, everybody. Hope you're enjoying our fishing trip. We are.
Yay!
There's a clue. Got a little guy. This is what we call one of them bait stealers.
Dude.
He impaled himself on that hook, didn't he?
In addition to the migrating salmon, this river is full of smaller rainbow trout and Dolly Varden. Dolly Varden is a variety of Arctic char. The little fish are here for one reason, and that's to eat as many salmon eggs as possible. John lands a pretty nice sized dolly here. But at this time of year, the star of the show on the Chuit is silver salmon. And we got some of those too.
Big trouble there. Look, okay, pull yours out if you can, Marla.
I got this little right
You want to get this?
here. I got this little one over here.
When we land a silver salmon to keep, it's standard procedure up in Alaska to bonk it on the head, then pull out a gill to get the blood away from the meat. These actions make a big difference when it comes to eating time. We're not doing any of this to be mean or cruel.
Another one bites the dust.
When you throw fresh salmon eggs right here, one gets a bite on just about every cast.
Oh!
That one got me. Look there, he got one. Oh man.
Reload! Reload!
There you go.
You got him!
Keep away from the stick. Back up.
What? There's a.
Whoa. He's bad.
Now here's a photographer's quandary. What do you do when you got two fish on? Which one do you film? Pretty hard to get them both here, but John's got one on. And so does Marla. Looks like a double! Oh no, another double!
Another female.
And that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Good job, Marla.
Thank you.
Well, that was different.
What was different?
As our stringer grows, the bobbers continue to disappear. And sometimes, so does the bait.
He had one on here too. And if you keep getting picked off, you may want to take off your bobber and put on another weight
Okay.
and try to get down deeper faster. Because they're ripping us off pretty good here now.
When you use fresh salmon eggs, getting a bite is not a problem. It's the right bite that we're after. More little guys. Well, maybe next time we'll try to find them a better place.
We need to work back to dry land real slow. Don't reel anymore. Over here to the sand if you can. It's too steep right here. Let's see what we got there, Dennis.
Another one going to Kansas.
Yay!
You did good.
I did good.
You did good.
Well, it's time for a little update here on our salmon fishing trip down the river. And John and Marla have been doing some pretty good catching here that you got to see. And now you're going to get to see what we've ended up with so far. Why don't you guys heat that up and show us what... Now, these are silver salmon, also known as coho. For our size group today, we get to keep 12, and we got 9 already. So, what time is it? It's 9:30. 9:30 in the morning, and we got here a little after 7, so it's been a good morning so far. And we're fishing in the shade. This pool's kind of slowed down a little bit, so our next move is to go ahead and fillet these fish out and reduce the packing weight on them so that we can get back up the hill where we park. But anyhow, we'll fillet these out, show you what they turn into, and we got a lot to show for this trip down here. You guys are doing real well.
Having a blast too.
Yeah, thank you.
Having a great time.
All right. Well, how could you not smile with a big old bunch of fish like that?
Hello, kids.
Yeah.
And they eat goody.
Now, here's the thing. We were talking before you guys came up here, and you said you weren't a big fan of eating salmon.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I think I told you, well, you haven't tried ours.
yeah, that's right.
We did, and we love it.
Yeah, it's great. Quite a bit different than any
Yes.
salmon we've been exposed to back in the Midwest.
Yeah.
That's for sure. This is the wild Pacific salmon, and in these clear snowmelt streams, it doesn't get much better than that.
No, they're delicious.
They're absolutely delicious.
All right, well, we'll get a little bit of a disassembly party going on here. And before long, we're going to have these in vacuum sealer bags and ready to head back home.
Yeah, on the grill.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Here's the part of the trip where we pack home the catch. The fillets are vacuum sealed and hard frozen. And they'll ride all the way back home on the big plane.
It's going to be about 75 pounds right there.
What's full?
No, that's...
How many you got there, John?
What was it, 56 packages? 56 packages of salmon. Woo-hoo! That's a bunch of salmon now.
Don't be giving all that away, but you can cook it for your friends.
Yeah.
That's...
Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has about everything you need for every season. Decorations for all seasons. Homes and treats for wild birds. New saddles and supplies for your ponies. Dog collars and pet grooming aids. plus grills and recipes for barbecue season. Whether you have a lap dog, a sport dog, chickens, or a goofy goat, Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has all the feeds you'll ever need. Blue Ribbon Farm and Home, rated outstanding by the Goofy Goat. When it's time to buy a better boat, Albers is the place to get your best deal on a new Tracker or Nitro. Albers Marine, Arma, Kansas. Trade up to a new Tracker, ready for the lake, powered by Mercury Outboards. Albers Marine, Arma, Kansas. Your ticket to the great outdoors is Tracker from Albers Marine. Albers Marine, Arma, Kansas. Your Tracker and Nitro boats dealer, North Highway 69, Arma, Kansas. Don't miss Albers Marine's 10th Annual Fishing and Hunting Show. It's a whole weekend of indoor fun for those that love the outdoors. See the latest boats, motors, and outdoor gear in the climate-controlled comfort of Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall. Bass Pro Mike Webb presents a fishing seminar Saturday at noon. Free fun for the whole family. Admission is free and parking is free. Don't miss Albers Marine's 10th Annual Fishing and Hunting Show in January at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall.
Come on out to Pawnee Wildlife Preserve, where it's pheasant season now through the end of March. And some people don't think of eastern Kansas as a place for wild pheasants, but I guarantee there's no slow flying ones out here. So give us a call at the number on your screen and come on out for a nice day in the country at Pawnee Wildlife Preserve, Fort Scott, Kansas.
What are you doing?
All of this year's visitors became friends with this neighborhood wild fox. And I even taught her to do some tricks. Sit. Good fox.
It's a warm day out here, and she likes sitting in the shade too. Warm out here is about 72 degrees, and everybody likes sitting in the shade.
Today we've hiked down to the Chuitna River, and we're about 8 to 10 miles in from Cook Inlet, and we had to come down a pretty darn steep trail just to get down here. And we found some other people tracks from a few days ago, but we're seeing more bear tracks on the sand than people tracks where we're fishing today. We've tested out a couple of these pools down here. We found some silver salmon in them, and we're going to show you some pictures of some king salmon that are not in season, but are in the final stages of their spawning process, and they're almost red as a stop sign right now. They're going to be real easy to see in this clear water, and it's part of the natural process that goes on in this river. This is a spawning stream for 4 or 5 different types of salmon, and today we're targeting the fresh silvers, and we're going to try to keep it away from the almost spawned out kings that are about to the end of their life cycle here at Chuit River. Now, this is the same river that's threatened by a coal mine, and there's a proposal to put a big 6 square mile coal mine up in this valley in a swampy area. The only way to run a coal mine there is to pump the water out, and it's going to end up in this river. Probably not good for spawning of salmon, but right now it's about as natural as it gets, and we're sharing that with you today on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along and sharing silver season with us today on the show. We got silver salmon here in the clear streams of Alaska, and this is a male that's hit my bait, my spinner bait,
just a little rosy, so we're going to let this guy go. It's legal to keep 3 a day here. But we got a big hill to walk out of. So we're going to make sure they're exactly perfect before we grab onto these. Put them in the vacuum seat. And there he goes. Really fun catching these big ones in here. That one was a little over 5-6 pounds. They can range up to 10 or 12 in here. And it's amazing they'll hit a little piece of metal like that. But they do. And we hope they do it again. This is what we walked down here for. This is why they call them the dancing silvers. This one's a male. We're going to let him go. He's hooked in the nose real easy, and he's just fine. When you let him go like that, we want to keep him in the water. And we're using single hook lures that are easier on the fish and make it easy to let him go. If we happen to deep hook one, we'll have to keep it. But so far, we're having a lot of action here with catch and release. Now, it's not the best one I ever had on, but it's a pretty good one. Barely hooked in the lip. This is a good releaser.
What we have here is a resting pool that's filled with some king salmon. And those are the red looking ones you see there. And this is at the end of their life cycle. This is a spawning stream of kings, silvers, pinks, and a few others. The silvers are over here to the left at the top of the pool. They're a little harder to see. But right now we're focusing in on the kings that are waiting to do their final spawning and nesting. And the next step in their evolution is the black tails on them are going to rot off as they consume all of their reserves. And then they're going to die. It's kind of a sad deal, but it's just the way it is for king salmon. And clock's ticking on these guys, and they're in the final hours, days, and minutes of their life. So we're going to try to leave these red guys alone, but there's silvers mixed in amongst them. It'll be a lot more aggressive and a lot more fun and maybe easy to catch. We'll see.
The whole fight here is going to be to get my lure back. We don't want this fish. We're trying to keep it away from the king.
only 12-pound line. It's more than a 12-pound fish. Try to get him up in the shallows and get him released. Sorry, Ben. Lean back and reel down to it. Lean back, reel down to it, and never let slacken down. Try and dig under those rocks. Look at all the silvers in there. Let this guy go. Back to your business. Lost him. He's fine. Do you have one on?
I did, but I lost him.
A king?
It looked like it.
Let's try to get the silvers.
I'm
And if we
over
keep
for it.
catching kings, we'll have to move. We don't want to bother these guys.
Waka waka.
Tune in each week for some of the stuff you just won't see on other shows. Outdoors, wildlife, and a life of adventure. Being on the lookout for natural foods and making the most of what the wildlife provides.
Study, learn, and share the great outdoors with someone who's important to you.